Generally speaking, Game of Thrones is not a satisfying show, although it is immensely entertaining. Quite the opposite actually, as it is packed with all kinds of death, tragedy, deceit and misfortune for the good guys, which can make it utterly heartbreaking at times. Sometimes, however, good prevails. Due to frequent misfortune, it can make these moments hugely gratifying and will leave many viewers overflowing with joy. It appears the tables have begun to turn as there were a number of satisfying moments. Before we start, click the red subscribe button. If you have dreamed of claiming the first comment, then make that dream into a reality and turn on the notifications by clicking on that grey bell. The Mad Queen. This moment in Game of Thrones history was both satisfying and terrible. With the massive wildfire eruption from the Sept came the deaths of many characters, both loved and hated. Personally, we were ecstatic to see this High Sparrow getting burnt to a crisp. That guy was such a menace within King's Landing and we were glad to see him gone. However, the deaths of Sir Loras Tyrell and Margaery Tyrell were tragic. The reason this earned 10 on my list is due to the mix of good and bad feelings that accompanied this scene. A crown for a king? Apparently, it's in Dothraki's nature to find the most brutal way to execute someone. From Khal Drogo ripping tongues out to pouring molten gold on Viserys Targaryen. The pure arrogance and disrespect from Viserys ultimately led to his demise. This spoiled brat still found a way to go out in style. In the end, he did get his crown, just not the crown of the Seven Kingdoms. Overall a very satisfying scene to watch. Jon and Ygritte. Their Romeo and Juliet-esque romance captured the hearts of everyone watching. And if it didn't, you have no soul. There are many great moments between Jon and Ygritte, but the most satisfying is when they finally get together for the first time. Everyone was shipping them from the beginning and it was great when our dreams came true. Which is why I personally despised that annoying little kid Ellie, who eventually kills Ygritte right in front of Jon. Okay, maybe he was protecting Jon, and maybe Ygritte helped kill his parents, but still. I hate that kid. Daenerys. The moment it looked as if Daenerys was willing to sell one of her dragons for an army of Unsullied seemed impossible. I mean, she's the mother of dragons. How could she sell one of her children? Especially to this chrome-domed slave owner. The scene shifted from scary to great when she had command of the Unsullied, and the slave owner was burnt to a crisp. Knights of the Vale to the rescue. Jon and his army were surrounded, and outnumbered. The end looked near. The death of a beloved character imminent. Then, out of nowhere, an army of Vale cavalry decimates Ramsey's troops and frees Jon's army. This last-minute timing and relief that follows was perfectly orchestrated. Which is why this has earned the 6th spot on our list. Jon Reborn. Jon betrayed, our favorite character stabbed by a bunch of traitors. Then, the pure joy when he suddenly rises from the dead. Honestly, the most satisfaction we found from this scene was that little backstabber really getting strung up like a fish. Here's a pic of it just so you all can enjoy it as well. Father and son. Speaking of betrayal, here we have Tyrion and Tywin Lannister's last encounter. Tyrion managed all the abuse and neglect he received from his father over the years. But when he was sentenced to death, and found the love of his life in Tywin's bed, he simply exploded with rage. Killing Shae must have been hard for Tyrion, but murdering his father on the can was all too easy. Especially considering his father's last words to him were, "You're no son of mine." Of course, I'll always be on Tyrion's side no matter his choices, since he's such a likable character. Arya's revenge. Walder Frey was responsible for the deaths of Robb and Catelyn Stark, along with all of their followers. It was so satisfying to see him first eat a pie made out of his sons, then die at the hands of Arya. The icing on the death cake was the badass manner she completed the task in. The death of Ramsey. Ramsey Bolton, one of the most evil characters in Game of Thrones, was terrifically portrayed by Iwan Rheon. He emotionally tortured Sansa and mutilated Theon. Overall, this guy was a world-class a-hole. While we try and stray from using profanity in describing people, there are no nice words to describe Ramsey Bolton. Thankfully, he met a truly horrific demise. He was eaten alive by his own hounds. Yes, he was a great tactician, and almost bested Jon on the field of battle. However, it was Sansa who managed to cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war onto his face. The Purple Wedding. King Joffrey will go down as one of the most hated television characters in history. He was an excellent villain, and whenever the audience was able to glimpse into his mind, all that was visible was pure evil. The second spoiled brat on our list, Joffrey truly was a sadistic little turd. He used his power to emotionally embarrass and torture those around him, simply for entertainment. We are sure all of us viewers are satisfied with his death. From what you can see in the picture above, it truly was an awful way to go. But he deserved it. Game of Thrones has managed to both horrify and satisfy audiences throughout its running, and I hope it continues to do as such. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, click the like button, leave a comment, and remember and click the subscribe and the bell to be notified about our next video.